to Lake Akers. I'm Matt Thompson. I'm the game warden here in Hardeman as well as Ford County for the last 26 years. We're on BarJar Ranch today at Lake Akers specifically to talk a little bit about what we have here. It's kind of the diamond in the rough out here in the middle of nowhere, and it's truly one of my favorite places in all the country that I cover. I had the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a lake that was being built back in 2009. They were actually going to put a dam on a canyon that run through a ranch and had 2 springs on it. I was a little skeptical at first, didn't know if it would ever catch water, didn't know if it would hold water. But they brought in a group out of Tennessee that built a dam like I have never seen in my part of the country, and it is truly one of the neatest places that I have. The owner had high expectations. He wanted his grandkids to be able to catch a fish anytime they went fishing, and so that was our #1 goal, and that we made happen. Just within the first 2 years of inception, his grandkids were catching fish until they were tired of catching fish. This was a canyon or a draw, whatever you want to call it, wherever you come from. It had 2 live springs running on it. I remember catching minnows in this creek, catching perch in this creek to stock some of the ponds that I had managed in the past. He was going to put a dam on this creek. Didn't know if it was going to work or not. Didn't know if we had enough runoff water. Didn't know if we had enough springs. But as you can see, it worked like a charm. He tasked me with the chore of building fishing areas. What I wanted, how I wanted them done, and kind of started from the ground up. So we left as much natural vegetation in the channel, in the creek bed that we could. The dam, from about where we stand to the dam, is the only thing that is cored out. Everything from here back up river is considered natural vegetation. Standing cottonwood trees underwater, excellent fishing habitat. So when we talk about the artificial structures in the lake, one of the ones I'm most proud of are right here at the dock. And these are structures that were actually built out of syrup tubs, 30-gallon syrup tubs, half filled with concrete, with poly pipes coming out of the top in like a Christmas tree arrangement. It was actually kind of fun putting it out. I had to get one of my buddies that could hold his breath a long time because the lake had already come up on us so much. We wanted them underneath the dock, situated, nestled in there to where if the kiddos were jumping off the dock, nobody interfered with it. You weren't hanging up your lines. So we wanted them under the dock. So we actually put on our mask and we carried 30-pound syrup tubs full of concrete with poly pipes sticking out of the top. And if you've ever seen the structures, they're unbelievable for crappie fishing. You can fish a jig right in the top of them, catch the fish straight out of them, you never hang up. So that was one of our neatest accomplishments, are the 10 trees that we have underneath the dock. And it was an all-day affair, and I knew it the next day. We went from there. I actually had the opportunity, they were building a sand swimming area, and the swimming area lies right on the edge of the channel that runs through the lake. So I actually poured pea gravel down both sides of the swimming area. For one, it let the kiddos know when their feet touched the rocks that it was fixing to get deep. But for the other is we were able to have 100 perch beds down each side of the swimming area. The owner, the only complaint he had was these fish are trying to eat my moles. Everywhere he had a spot on his body, our bait fish were actually pecking at him, so you'd say. So we also built other structure as far as our road beds that were in and out that the heavy machinery used. We actually put those into solid gravel, and we're able to make even more beds for our bluegill and red ear to spawn in. Very neat how this lake is from the bottom up. We have 4 diffuser aerators. We turn them on during the summer months. They run all night. It's just a precaution. We have good churn on the top of the water, but with the lake being almost 40 foot deep, we like to turn that water over and keep as much oxygen as we can for the amount of fish that we have. I brought you around to one of our fishing areas here. This is one of my favorite places to fish. It's got the structure. It's got the riprap out through the middle. It has our cattails, kind of steep drop-offs here, but it's one of our fun fishing areas. We can line the kiddos up through here. We fished 10 kids here. I remember one time this little fishing area produced over 100 fish in an hour and a half. And I'll turn the feeder on and kind of show you what we're doing here. This is a Purina feed that we fed since the inception of the lake. We've never fed the the inferior stuff. These are about 400-pound feeders. This is a smaller pellet. I like to feed the smaller pellet because it gives more opportunity for the smaller fish to forage with your larger fish. And we've always done well with it. It's kind of like a dinner bell. I hit the test button, within 10 seconds, you're going to see a lot of difference. There's the first roll. And there's the catfish. If you look just short of our catfish, this is what I'm most proud of. We have hundreds of bluegill. It's hard without polarized glasses, but right here in the shallows is where we'll have all our bluegills. That's all the bait fish. That's the heart of this lake, is having a healthy population of bait fish. Most of these catfish you're looking at here are 3 to 5 pounders. They're the rowdy ones. They're the ones that compete the most for the feed. They're all channel cat. They look like a blue cat. They've got suntans. This lake is clear during the summer, so most of our fish are dark in color. Bass are beautiful. They've got the beautiful striping on them. A lot of fun to see what your benefits are of taking care of something. One old turtle out there. He comes in, eats with the fish. We do a lot of carp management here. We get all our less desirables out. In fact, our spillway, we put a very nice fish screen. We connect into Grosbeck Creek just right down the way. We don't want the gar in here. We don't want the carp. We don't want the buffalo. We're managing just a strict species of game fish. So, and it's 2 o'clock. This is our natural time that our feeders come on. We feed 3 to 4 times a day during the summer, and this is one of them. So they're going to get double fed today. Well, now that they're good and hungry, let's go get our fishing poles and we'll go catch a mess for supper. Going into a different area, I'll kind of talk a little bit about our fish and what we did with our fish. As you can see, there's a lot of water here. We have 6 different fish feeders. These fish feeders go off 3 times a day during the summer months. During the winter, we feed a sinking ration 1 time a day. It just maintains our fish. But the way we started it is the way we start any lake. Started it from the littles up. We started with fathead minnows. We started with bluegill, our red ears, all of your bait fish. We actually brought semi-trucks in out of Arkansas. We started big. We actually had to use, as the lake was filling up, we actually had to use the backhoe to transport our fish into the bottom of the lake. So that first year, 2009, 2010, all bait fish. The only invasive species we had in here at the time were carp and mudcat. So what I did, got some blue cat, put some blue cat in here. We cleaned out the mudcat real fast. We've probably still got some 40 and 50 pound blue cat left in here, but it cleaned our less desirable species out, and it let our bait fish double and triple in the first year. So then we started with our catfish. That's the only argument I ever had is we were at a rate to stock for 14,000 catfish, and the owner said, we're going to double that. I want my grandkids to catch a fish anytime. So we fed double for a lot of years, and we've got our catfish maintained now somewhere between 9 and 12 pounds. You'll catch your smaller spawner fish as well, but we've got some line breakers for catfish in here. That was his goal, and that goal was met within the first 2 years. His grandkids caught more fish out here. The first kidfish that we had out here in 2011, the kiddos caught 700 fish. Since then, it's been up in the tens of thousands that we've caught out of here. So very fertile, very healthy lake. My biggest want in this project was to grow a 12-pound bass. In Texas, anybody can grow a 10-pound bass, but I wanted to grow the 12-pound bass. So the coolest thing that he let me do was actually fly in largemouth bass fry from Lake Okeechobee, a hatchery in Lake Okeechobee, to Dublin, Texas. That was Arms Fish Hatchery at the time. Harold was a good friend of game wardens and learned a lot of stuff from them. So they raised my fish up to finger length, and they brought us pure Florida strain bass. But when we did that, we also went ahead and put our crappie in at that same time. The next year we put some F1 Northern crosses and we just watched everything grow. The bass, once they got up to about 12 inches, we stocked threadfin shad. We've had 1 or 2 die-offs of shad, and they will line the banks out here. Winter die-off, best thing that could have ever happened. Those fish gorge themselves and have gained more weight than you could ever imagine. Here about 4 or 5 years ago, we started getting our bass up to about 8 pounds. We introduced gizzard shad at that point. The gizzard shad, up to 12 inches, your 10-pound bass eating a 12-inch gizzard shad, they're going to make it to 12 pounds. That's our goal. We've caught some 10s out these last couple of springs pre-spawn, and we're on track for that. We've got a few new ideas, but the main thing that we have is a brood pond full of bluegill, and it's up close to the house, and it's probably one of the funnest things that the kiddos do on the ranch. Is they help me every fall and every spring seine 5,000 to 8,000 bluegill and put in the lakes. So it's definitely a family affair, and it's all hands on deck. Unbelievable fishing. The neatest thing about it is both sets of previous owners have been super receptive in what we call our annual kid fish. I started this at Copper Break State Park 25 years ago with 5 prizes and about 12 kids. And in the last 5 years, we've had up to 175 kiddos right here on the property with their parents, grandparents. Just an unbelievable time when you look out here and you see 300 people enjoying a day of fishing, and it's actually helping the conservation on your lake. They're actually helping us by taking those fish and getting those older fish out of here, and you know, leaving our bait fish and kind of going that route. But that is probably the most rewarding part about this lake is the public knows that every year that we're going to have one day that we can fish at a pristine lake in the middle of nowhere. There's no other lake within 75, 100 miles of here that you can go catch fish like you can here. Very, very fulfilling job as me as a game warden to be able to do this and to see it come to fruition, and the kiddos' smiles on their faces. I've sat right here with 30 different kiddos in the last 15 years, and you know, they caught their first fish or their first catfish or their biggest fish. So it's truly rewarding to be here and to be a part of this, and I thank you for letting me do it.